Welcome to Real Science.
You know that feeling, right? When you wake up from a dream that felt so completely, totally real that for a second you're not even sure where you are? Well, the movie The Matrix took that exact feeling and just exploded it onto the big screen. And it left all of us wrestling with a massive question. Is any of this for real? Or could we all be living inside some incredibly advanced computer program? Today, we're going to take the red pill and find out.
So let's start by rewinding back to 1999. The Matrix hits theaters and just completely blows everyone's minds with this one simple idea. The world you think is real is nothing but a computer-generated dream. It was way more than just a movie. It became the reason a whole generation started to look around and seriously question everything. Because in the movie's actual reality, things are, well, they're pretty bleak. Machines are in charge, and humans aren't exactly at the top of the food chain anymore. They're kept in these pods, not dead, but not really alive either. Their bodies are basically being used as living batteries, while their minds are plugged into the Matrix, this perfect simulated world, so they have absolutely no idea what's really happening to them.
And this line from Morpheus just nails it, doesn't it? The simulation isn't some paradise. It's a prison for your mind. It's all about control, keeping people blissfully unaware while they're being used. But here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when a wild movie plot starts to sound suspiciously like a serious academic theory?
Yeah, that's the jump we're about to make. We're leaving the world of cinema and diving headfirst into philosophy and quantum physics. Because the idea that our reality might just be an artificial construct, it's something that some of the smartest people on the planet are debating right now. So you can think of the Matrix as the perfect gateway drug to this much bigger idea called the simulation hypothesis. And it turns out, this whole business of questioning reality is not some new internet fad. It's a philosophical rabbit hole that goes back for centuries.
The hypothesis is pretty much what it says on the tin, that our entire universe, from the biggest galaxies down to the smallest particles, could be running as code on some kind of unimaginable computer. But this idea didn't just pop up with the invention of computers. Ages ago, Plato was wondering if we were all just prisoners watching shadows dance on a cave wall. Later, the philosopher Descartes fretted about an evil genius who might be feeding him a complete illusion of a world.
Okay, so this is a really crucial distinction to make. We've got to separate the movie from the theory. The Matrix gives us a very specific and kind of scary reason for the simulation: evil AI using humans as batteries. The academic theory, though, is usually a lot broader. The most common version suggests that a super advanced future civilization might run what they call ancestor simulations, basically to study their own past. So the motive isn't necessarily evil, it could just be a history project on steroids.
For a long time, this was all just philosophical chin-stroking. But then, in 2003, a philosopher named Nick Bostrom dropped a bombshell of a paper. He didn't try to find glitches in the Matrix or anything like that. Instead, he used pure logic and statistics to argue that it's not just possible we're in a simulation, it's actually probable.
So Bostrom lays out what's called a trilemma, which means one of these three things absolutely has to be true. Okay, number one, civilizations like ours pretty much always destroy themselves before they get advanced enough to run these kinds of simulations. Game over. Number two, they get super advanced, but they completely lose interest in running simulations of their past. Maybe it's unethical, maybe it's just boring to them. Or, number three, they do survive, they are interested, and they run tons of these simulations. Now, if that third one is true, just think about it. Over time, there'd be one base reality, but billions, maybe trillions of simulated realities. So just playing the odds, where are you more likely to be? In the one original world or in one of the billions of copies?
All right, that's a pretty compelling argument, I gotta admit. But don't go unplugging from the system just yet. Because of course, reality strikes back. There are some huge counter-arguments, and they come straight from the fundamental laws of physics and philosophy.
This is the big one from the physicists. To accurately simulate our universe, you'd have to track every single particle, every single interaction, everywhere, all at once. The sheer amount of computing power you'd need is, well, it's literally astronomical. The computer running our universe would have to exist in another universe, and it would need more energy and resources than our entire known universe contains. It's like trying to build a perfect life-size model of your car inside your car's glove compartment. The numbers just don't add up.
Then you've got the philosophical argument. See, a simulation is code. It's an algorithm. It follows a set of rules. But what about something like human consciousness, or creativity, or true unpredictable randomness? Can you really write a line of code for a new idea, or for falling in love? This argument says no, you can't. Some parts of our reality might be fundamentally non-computable. And if something can't be computed, well, you can't build a computer program to simulate it. Period.
Okay, this all leads us to what might be the most important question of all. Let's just pretend for a minute that it's true. We are in a simulation. The big question is, so what? Does that actually change anything about our lives, our relationships, our purpose?
This is the dilemma of the character Cypher in The Matrix. He knows the steak he's eating isn't real, but he chooses to go back into the simulation because, as he says, ignorance is bliss. He'd rather have a happy illusion than a miserable reality. And it's a fair question. If the simulation is perfect, if you can't ever tell the difference, does it even matter that it's not base reality?
And here's a fascinating take that kind of flips the whole thing on its head. The philosopher David Chalmers says, hey, a simulated world isn't a fake world. The objects and people in it are still real. They're real digital objects and people. A table in a simulation is a genuine digital object that follows the simulation's rules of physics. So, from this point of view, our world is totally real. It's just that its fundamental building blocks aren't atoms and quarks, they're bits of information.
And that leaves us with one final haunting thought. If we are living in a simulation, whether it's a cosmic experiment, a giant video game, or a history lesson for our descendants, then who's running the show? Who are the players? And what does that make us? The answer, if there is one, is probably way outside the boundaries of the program. But the next time you experience a little déjà vu, you just have to wonder.